Hi, this is Tom at Bob Johnson's Computer Stuff, and today we're going to be replacing the motherboard in a Getac S400-G2.
Start off by shutting your computer off, removing your battery and your hard drive if you've not done so already. The hard drive is located on the bottom of the computer underneath the door. You just open the door, pull up the tab, pull it backwards and up, and the hard drive caddy comes out. The battery is on the side, and just open the door, pull the battery out, set them both to the side. Go ahead and get a screwdriver, and you can start by removing the memory door cover. Set it to the side, keep the screws with it. Go ahead and start removing the screws for the bottom bezel. Keep track of where the screws go. Make sure not to lose any screws. Most of the screws on the bottom are the same. There are one or two that are different. Just keep track of the screws that are different and set them to the side. The one in the back by the port covers is actually a different size, so just keep track of those screws. It's a little bit longer. And then there's one screw in the center towards the back that is longer than all the others. It actually screws in and holds in the strip above the keyboard, which you will need to remove, so you need to take that screw off either way. The one by the dock is a different size as well. It looks like it's a little bit smaller. Once you have those screws off, you need to also, in the back, take the cover off, the dummy cover in the back off. Set it to the side. Open up all the port covers. You do need to remove the threaded screws in the back for the VGA and for the serial port. It's just a socket you can find in your average socket set. Once you have those off as well, you should be able to carefully lift the bottom bezel off. Set the bottom bezel to the side. Then you can get ready to remove the whole motherboard unit. Start removing the screws, keep track of the screws, set them to the side, make sure not to lose any. Make sure to disconnect the cables on the bottom. And to lift up the neck, as you go, you can carefully lift up the motherboard just to make sure you didn't miss any screws. There is a couple of cables you will need to disconnect from the top side. You will also need to remove the battery connector. It blocks the motherboard in the bottom. Set that to the side. Once you have the motherboard loose and ready to come out, if you've not done so already, remove the PCM CIA card, dummy cards. Once you have it loose, there's a couple of cables on the top side that you will need to disconnect. The keyboard, the screen cable, and a couple of antenna cables will need to be disconnected from the top. So go ahead and flip the computer over, open the screen up, and remove the bezel cover above the keyboard that has the power button and the function key buttons built into it. Again, keep track of the screws. Don't lose any. There's 2 screws in the back of each of the hinge covers. That's also part of that same bezel, so you'll need to remove those as well. Those screws in the back of the hinge covers is a different size than the screws on the top side of the bezel. So separate those and don't lose any. Then once you have all the screws out, you can get under one of the corners and just lift the cover up. From there, you will need to remove the keyboard. So go ahead and remove the screws holding the keyboard down. Flip the keyboard up. Then you can go ahead and remove the cover covering up the antenna wires, and you can start pulling the antenna wires up and out of the way. Just disconnect the antenna wires from the bottom, disconnect the video cable in the front. Be careful with the video cable. Then you can remove the cover for the ribbon cable for the keyboard. Just carefully lift it up. The adhesive is stuck to the back of the keyboard. The keyboard ribbon cable should come right out. Then the motherboard unit should lift up. If your replacement motherboard has all the parts on it, you can just leave the parts and then transfer the replacement on. If you have a replacement motherboard with all the parts on it, you don't need to transfer anything. If not, you would need to transfer the fan, the RAM, the Wi-Fi card. All of those parts would need to be transferred. If not, just go ahead and set your replacement back in place. Make sure not to pinch any wires or cables or anything like that. Make sure it's firmly in place. Sit the NIC back in place. You can go ahead and put your battery connector back on. The connector just actually pushes down into a separate board, and then you screw it back down. You can go ahead and start screwing the screws back in for the motherboard. Make sure to go ahead and reconnect your cables. should be able to put most of the bottom screws back in. There's one that you won't be able to put back in until you put the cover back on for the keyboard cover. That screw has to go back in once you put that cover back on. You can put the hard drive back in now, or you can wait until the end. You can put the memory cover back on. And screw it back down. Go ahead and put your dummy cover back on in the back. And screw it down. You'll need to go ahead and reconnect the antenna wires for the Wi-Fi card. You'll also need to reconnect your keyboard. Be careful with the keyboard connector. Cover back up the ribbon cable for the keyboard. Slide the keyboard into place. And screw it back down. Go ahead and reconnect the screen cables. Be careful with both of them. Then go ahead and put the cover back on that covers the hinges, goes above the keyboard, and has the power button cover on it. Screw it back down. Put the screws back in the back side of the hinge covers. The last screw on the bottom you should be able to put back on now that the cover above the keyboard is back on. The last thing you have to do in the back is to put the screws back on, the mounting screws back on for the VGA port and for the serial port. Those will just thread back in. You can do it by finger, or you can use a socket. Once you do that, you're all done reassembling it. You can put your battery back in and your hard drive if you've not done so already. You're all done with the repair.
And so that's about it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And don't forget to like and subscribe.